What's good, family? So mash that like button, subscribe and lick off the bell. Wow, so we got some breaking news right now. Your man's Tyson Fury has said it may not be Dillian Whyte next, and instead it may be Joe El Juggernaut Joyce. Why? Well, I can read between the lines here. Bottom line, what do we know? Fury versus Joyce is a Frank Warren in-house special. We know Fish Eyes Warren loves his in-house shows. Seldomly does Fish Eyes Warren like to risk his mans. And to be fair, to an extent, it's kind of like the UFC way of doing things. Not that he puts on the best fights, but the way of keeping it in-house. Keeps the belt in-house. Keeps the money flowing in-house. But really, it's a detriment to the sport. That's why Eddie Hearn is the 2021 Promoter of the Year, because he just puts the best fights on. People criticise him, but at the end of the day, he don't stop no one doing nothing. If his fighter needs to fight someone from another company, he lets him do it, which is something, as you're finding out now with Tyson Fury, Fish Eyes Warren seldomly allows to happen. Now, obviously, there's going to be Dillian Whyte. I'm not sure what he's going to say. I'm not sure what WBC going to say. But the fact that Team Fury and Tyson Fury are putting out there now, it's kind of a bit mad. Now, let me read you the quote from Team Fury. They say, "It's very, very important that Tyson Fury, having done his last 5 fights in the US, that he goes back and does a fight in the UK. However, who he will choose could be Dillian Whyte, could be Joe Joyce. What we do know is who Fury fights next will be determined by Tyson Fury. If he fights in the UK, I think Whyte would be good, as well as Joyce. So there you go then. Now, these guys don't mince no words. Yeah, and the fact they're sneaking Joyce in there, I'm sorry people. Bear in mind, WBC is the MTK connection. Yeah? Now, the MTK connection is the most strong connection. And we know Tyson Fury is #1 MTK Don. So, listen, all I know is, in everyone else's mind, it's what? Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury to fight next. But the fact Team Fury are slipping in Joe Joyce. To be fair to Team Fury, they do say Dillian Whyte first, i.e. Fury vs Dillian Whyte in the UK first, but why add on the or Joe Joyce unless it's got some sort of weight in it. And bear in mind again, guess what? Bob Arum says who Tyson Fury fights next will be decided by him, which implies that they have some sort of power to decide their next fights. Now, never mind the very strong MTK connection. What else do we know about WBC and their champions? And their champions' ability to pick their next fights. Yours truly, guess who? Deontay Wilder. What was Deontay Wilder renowned for? Deontay Wilder was renowned for picking lovely bum fights after lovely bum fights. Don't forget, this whole initial 5-year waiting period for Dillian Whyte originated with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder went from bum to bum to bum. They even would mandate bums over Dillian Whyte. Dominic was no word of a lie, yeah? I kid you not. YB's lying. YB makes stuff up. Guess what? Let me give you some facts right now. Dillian Whyte was due to fight Dominic Breazeale in a mandatory eliminator, i.e. the winner of Whyte and Breazeale would be the mandatory. Yeah? Deontay Wilder was due to fight Luis Ortiz. Unfortunately, Luis Ortiz was ill or something, so he pulled out. And rather than allowing Breazeale and Whyte to fight for the mandatory and putting Wilder on ice or giving Wilder a bum fight, they elevated Breazeale to mandatory. Because Wilder said, "Oh man, we've got some bad blood and I want Breazeale," and which again shows the ability of the WBC champion to choose whoever he wants to fight. Yeah? Wilder wanted Breazeale and not Whyte, and he got Breazeale. Meanwhile, the WBC had already ordered Whyte versus Brazil. They could have allowed that process to play out. But again, every time you look around, historically speaking, the WBC do the most to give their champion what they want. And bear in mind, again, people, they gave Wilder what he wanted. Wilder was nowhere near as connected as the MTK cabal. So if Wilder can pick and choose and not fight Dillian, now to be honest with you, I'm not even saying Fury. Do I think Fury stays up at night scared of Dillian? I don't. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. But nonetheless, the point is here, I'm believing what Bob Arum says. Bob Arum says, you best believe who Tyson Fury fights next will be his choice. He will choose it. And I'm sorry, I believe that. And the fact they're throwing Joe Joyce's name in the mix, why? Why throw it in there if for nothing? Now again, it's going to depend how well connected the MTK cabal are. I.e. their ability to, because we know that WBC came out and said, oh, Dillian Whyte's next. But then again, bear in mind that, what do we know? This whole Otto Wallin situation, in my opinion, that the whole Whyte pulling out against Wallin, that there could be another banana skin for Dillian Whyte. It's another reason for them to say, oh, well, you know, the mandatory shot was actually, because I swear down, the WBC worded it that the winner of Whyte and Wallin would be the mandatory. So Dillian Whyte not now fulfilling the Whyte-Wallin fight, is that potentially going to be a leverage or a potential pivot point for the WBC now? Oh well, Dillian, we told you it was the winner of that fight, so either you have to fight him or, you know what I'm saying, we do our own thing. And if that is the case, that Dillian has to fight Wallin in a rescheduled bout, that does what? That opens up another 6 months for Fury to fight Joyce first. But like I said, Tyson Fury knows that Dillian Whyte fight is the biggest fight. So why would he want to fight Joe Joyce, who in my opinion, I think it's a harder fight, to be honest. It's a harder fight and it's less financially stimulating. So really there's no benefit of fighting Joyce over Whyte. And to be honest, I'm a boxing fan, and you might know me, or people who do know me truly know that I'm always pulling for the sport. And to be honest with you, Dillian Whyte versus Joyce, Whyte versus Fury, or Fury versus Joyce, I think the Joyce fight's more entertaining. Well, tell a lie. Not more entertaining, but it's more competitive. It's got more competitive intrigue in it. I think Tyson Fury, I just don't think Dillian going to be hard work for Tyson Fury. Bearing in mind, or based on his last few performances, or based on Povetkin Gate, based on 40-year-old, sent you to meet your maker gate. I find it hard to see past that. And again, to be fair to Dillian, he did right the wrong, but it was a bad wrong to have. And let's get something straight here, people. Guess what? If Tyson Fury was chinned cold by Povetkin, what would think about it? Oh, YB, why all of a sudden are you riding Tyson Fury? YB, this, that, the other. Listen. Bottom line is, yeah, when Tyson Fury was running around with Ben Davidson, yes, I was rock hard for Dillian Whyte to go in there and march forward. But a lot of that was before Dillian got chinned by a 40-year-old tired, haggard man. That was before Tyson Fury got on this roll of marching forward. Yeah? You have to remember, things change, information changes. A lot of you man are still evaluating Tyson Fury under Ben Davidson and Dillian Whyte before Povetkin Gate. That's a bad look. Dillian Whyte wasn't tired. He wasn't gassed. He was winning the fight, dominating the fight, and the man chipped him and he went out. What does that say for your ability to hold a shot? For all we know, Tyson Fury can hit him with one shot and he's going to go out again. Sure. Oh, but YB, Povetkin got more power. I don't believe him. I don't believe Povetkin's got more power than Fury. Not now. Not 270 pounds. Because Deontay Wilder's proven that weight really does make a big difference. Now, to be fair to Dillian will be coming in 260 or whatever, so the weight won't be as big, but it's not functional, is it? Because guess what? Dillian had 20 pounds over Povetkin. How did it help him? Oops. Yeah? Did that extra weight help him hold the shot against Vetkin? No, it didn't. So, what we know is Joe Joyce is much more sturdy around the whiskers. And is unbeaten. So, to be honest, I'm not bothered either way. Where I will be bothered is if it's Tyson Fury versus someone not called Joe Joyce and not called Dillian Whyte. It must be one of them dons next. That's for sure. Bottom line. But then again, who knows? You never know how strong the MTK cabal is. Maybe maybe it can be one of them ones. But listen, you might know me. I judge things on a case-by-case basis. If Fury, by some will or way, ends up fighting someone not called Joyce, not called White, I'm going to have to ride him. And rightfully so, because that can't work. You're the champion. You've just defended your belt for the first time. Just get in the habit now of defending them properly. No more warm-ups. No more nothing else. Get in there, get stuck in. Because there's no reason not to. You've got the mentality. You've got the style. Crack on now. No doubt.